Good morning, America. My name is Danny. I'm a 48-year-old American. This is my show, Danny's Pit. It's not for children, so if you're under the age of 18, it's not for you. Topic of today's pit will be police brutality. And this is something that, again, I did not see on nightly news. Maybe I didn't catch it or I was outside or something. But it would appear that in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, the police have been using this warehouse that they nicknamed like the Doom Cave or Cave of Doom or something like that. And they've just been taking inmates, people under investigation into this place and beating the holy hell out of them, and in some cases letting them go immediately. And there was even a case I just heard just now where a woman said that she was forced to do all kinds of strip searches and endure 2 hours of police abuse and was let go. I guess they got what they wanted and they let her go. Well, they all got busted. The feds have been called and they're looking into this. And as of right now, that building is shut down. The entire police department's under investigation, etc., etc. So, what does this have to do with my pit? Well, I did time. Did a lot of time actually. For some, did a total of about 5 years. Okay, and in those 5 years, I ran across every type of cop you could think of. From the cop that looks like you could just tell he was the kid in school that got bullied and picked on and picked last and all that shit, and then they gave him a badge and now he's Johnny, Johnny bad butt or something like that. And then I came across the cops that were very pro, what I called pro inmate. They knew our lives sucked in there. They knew we don't want to be there. We wish we could have done something a little differently. I wish I hadn't gone out that night that I went out. And they keep that in mind and they treat you with respect. And then you got the neutral cops that are they're just neutral all the way. They're not angry, they're not happy, they're just what they say, they do their 8 and hit the gate, kind of thing. It takes all kinds. Even the Bible says we are to submit to the law of man while we're here. And I do believe God does his best. Well, God always does his best. But down here, free will and the the prince of all lies himself's rule. But I think they do a pretty good job figuring out who deserves a badge and who doesn't. There's been a lot of cases in my life, believe it or not, when I was younger I wanted to be a cop. I grew up watching Lethal Weapon and things like that. I thought it was exciting. I could hang off the back of a truck and fire 125 rounds into LA and never get investigated. Riggs got lucky. Anyway, though, the point is this. The cops that treated me like shit when I was in there, I don't even remember them really. It was the cops that took the time to go, hey, Danny, well, we gotta go by last names in there, but, hey, why are you here? I tell them what I did that night, and they said, no, why are you here? Like, I had one DUI in 99, then nothing, and then this night. And it was a pretty bad crime that I was involved in. But anyways, he basically told me his little story. I was in line to get to the prison store to buy some food. And he basically told me his little story, that if he hadn't joined the Department of Corrections when he did, at the bequest of his sister, mother, and everybody that loved him, everybody that was dragging him out of bars, he said, I would be sitting right next to you, buddy. And he called me buddy, and he meant it, and I ran into a lot of good cops. I'm going to name this one. I hope I don't get in trouble, but the last prison I was at had a CO. It was a female CO named Mrs. Oswald, and I cannot say enough good about her. She is one of the people walking around right now that deserve a badge because she knew with like Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility, and she held a dorm of 45 hardened criminals, man. We had lifers in there, and you know what you get life for. We had just some of the badasses around there, and yet they treated her like she was Grandma Buttermilk. No one disrespected her, and she gave you nothing but respect until you disrespected her. Then she could flip you upside down. I've seen her do it, but only when it was called for. Anyway, I'm kind of getting off the topic, but what I'm trying to say is, this entrapping people and abusing your badge, and this one guy they had in there for I don't know 6 hours. He was admitted he was in such bad shape after the shed that they had shut down that the jail wouldn't even take him in. He had to go get cleared by the hospital before they would take him in. And same thing happened to me when I got arrested. These cops thought it'd be a good idea to handcuff me at the top of steps when I couldn't walk a straight line, and I fell down a flight of stairs. That's why my forehead looks so pretty. I cut everything up. And when I got to the hospital, of course, they say, what happened? And I said, they let me go. And I noticed the cop in my peripheral go like this. And she says, it's funny you fell and only hit here and here and here. In other words, she knew the score. But nobody did anything. Nobody's going to. Again, I'll go back to saying, what I did and what happened to me and the end result of it, I needed that. Okay, because up until that point, I was drinking about 30 beers a day and about, 2-3 pints of vodka, maybe a gallon of vodka a day on top of that. And I was taking handfuls of Soma and Xanax and Trazodone and Vicodin and Percocet and phenobarbital. There's a good one. Let's stop your heart like that. And chasing it all down with booze. So when I got locked up, I honestly feel like God gave me, like a human father would, God gave me a timeout, And you could still get loaded in there. I've told you that before, but I chose not to. I stayed straight my entire ride, man. I didn't dabble with anything. I smoked cigarettes in there, but got to stay sane somehow. And drank about 15,000 gallons of coffee, I guess, over the course of the years. But my point is, like, to say, I just want to say this to the good cops out there: keep up the good work. Okay, I am not anti-cop. You guys did not come into the place that I was at the night I got arrested and yanked me off the couch, threw me in cuffs, and then put me away for 5 years. That didn't happen. Okay, I committed a crime, and then that turned into what happened. Another thing I want to tell you guys is you hear this a lot on TV shows, and I watch, NCIS and Law and Order and Third Watch and Cold Case, Criminal Minds. I like all those shows. Never talk to the cops. Okay, the first thing I did when they came into the room, they cuffed me up. Sergeant sits right next to me and looks at my driver's license. I have beer on the counter, and he goes, "That's your beer?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he uncuffs me, hands me my beer, and hands me my cigarette. So I'm like this with a beer and a cigarette. This guy calls me by my first name because he reads it off the card. He's like, Danny, I have a pretty good idea of what happened here tonight. But if you tell me your side of the story, there's a good chance that you'll go home to sleep in your bed tonight. And at a .42 or .45, somewhere around there, I was in mind enough to say, I believe I need a lawyer. And he slapped that beer out of my hand and cigarette and burnt a little bit of my hand there, and that's when they cuffed me up and then let me down the stairs, and and I never once got pulled into one of them rooms that you see on Hollywood and got talked to by a couple of detectives, and never once. I said I want a lawyer. Okay, my crime involved a gun. I needed a good lawyer. But anyway, that's veering off. What I'm getting back, circle it back here. Okay, so these cops all deserve to lose their badges. Just like the cowards in Uvalde all deserve to lose theirs too. That shooting, that should have never happened that way. Those were cowards. But anyway, I'll wrap it up in the pit. You guys out there in law enforcement, stay safe, please. And respect your badge that you want us to respect. Okay? Respect it back to us. Because even guys like me with ink and hair, I respect you. I will listen to you. And it's not white privilege. It's just the way it is. So anyways, that being said, God bless each and every one of you, man. Have a good day. It's really early, so you can call everybody you love and tell them you love them. And stay vigilant and keep looking forward, but once in a while look behind you. Might be some crooked cops trying to hurt you for no reason. It would appear. Anyway, so like I always say, God bless each and every one of you, and God bless these wonderful and beautiful United States of America that we're lucky as hell to be living in, even in these times, and it will get better. It's starting to look like it's going to get better. So stay tuned, and catch you next time. Oh, and if you like the show, please hit like, and like helps to get it played more, and hit subscribe. You won't miss a show. And you can like and subscribe me on Rumble, on TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. Man, take your pick. Subscribe to them all. But catch you next time.